Why does your cat insist on sleeping on you? Even with a soft bed, a warm blanket, and a perfect little spot all to themselves, why does this feline impulse to snuggle right on your chest, your stomach, your back, seem almost magnetic? Have you ever found yourself wondering, why, out of all the places in the house, are your lap, chest, or even your head always your cat's royal choice, night after night? Subscribe to the channel and leave a like to get access to more stories like this. Maybe you believe it's just neediness, or perhaps you've heard that cats like body warmth, that it's simply a matter of comfort. But what if I told you there's something much, much deeper happening every time your cat decides to sleep on you? Something that's part of an ancient, centuries-old mystery that most people simply ignore. This is where it all begins. And if you want to discover this something more your cat is trying to communicate, and most importantly, what they see and feel about you, stick with me until the end of this video because the answers will forever transform how you look at this mysterious being who shares your home. By the way, before diving into this enigma, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. None of this is by chance. The more you interact, the more YouTube understands this content makes sense for you. And between us, this is just the beginning of a journey of discoveries about spirituality, science, and the invisible bond between humans and animals. And comment below, where on your body does your cat like to sleep the most? I'm really curious to know. Now get ready. What you're about to hear might explain feelings, premonitions, and even transformations you've already experienced, but never knew where they came from. Let's unravel this mystery together. Do you remember that exact moment when, almost without realizing it, your cat jumped onto the bed, circled 3 times, and finally lay down, not in the empty space, not beside you, but exactly on your chest, feeling your heartbeat? What's really going through that animal's mind and heart at that moment? Is it just affection, or is there something more mysterious, almost supernatural, about this choice? Perhaps you've felt an inexplicable peace when your cat is lying on you, a sensation that, for a few minutes, all the weight of the world is suspended, as if time slows down and worries lose their grip. Or maybe you've cried, felt pain, anxiety, and noticed that at those moments your cat appears, silent, seeking your lap, sleeping right on that area of your body that hurts the most. All mere coincidence? Or is there a sensitive intelligence, an invisible knowledge behind this behavior? Science, spirituality, and even ancient mystics have spent centuries trying to understand where this almost magical bond between cats and humans comes from. What few people know is that, far beyond pets, these felines have always been considered spiritual entities, guardians of the invisible and energetic healers. And you? Have you ever truly wondered who your cat is? Perhaps you've never heard this before, but the reason your cat chooses to sleep on you might have nothing to do with seeking warmth or affection. And as strange as it may seem, it's not just love or feline attachment. In fact, there's a phenomenon happening, invisible to the eyes, but deeply perceptible to those who allow themselves to feel it. Just imagine, according to multiple accounts and traditions, cats are true energetic diagnosticians. That's right. They are said to be able to perceive and absorb dense energy charges, sadness, physical and emotional pain, and through direct contact with the human body, act as filters or catalysts for these energies, accelerating the process of healing and spiritual balance for their owner. Shocking? Well, that's just the beginning. Many animal behavior researchers report cases of cats radically changing their behavior when their owner is sick, sad, or going through some kind of crisis. They start to get closer, meow more softly, and sleep on specific parts of the human body. Not by chance. For several ancient peoples, the cat was not simply a domestic animal, but a guardian of portals, a protector of home energies, and, most importantly, a sensor of invisible illnesses. Have you ever stopped to think that when you feel most vulnerable, that's exactly when your cat lies on you, purrs louder, closes its eyes, and seems to enter a trance? It's as if the feline is irresistibly drawn to the exact point where there's a disharmony, a sadness, an energetic call seeking healing. And the most surprising thing, there are reports of people who had never detected a health problem, but who felt their cat insisting for weeks on sleeping on a certain area of their body, only to discover later that there was inflammation, a lump, an early-stage illness. Coincidence, or something bigger at play? To delve even deeper into this mystery, we need to go back in time and seek answers not only in science, but also in the wisdom of authorities who dedicated their lives to studying the occult. Have you ever heard of Edgar Cayce? Known as the Sleeping Prophet, this American from the early 20th century became famous for performing thousands of psychic readings, many of them related to health, spirituality, and the role of animals as energetic allies of humans. Cayce, in his records, described cats as amplifiers of subtle energies. He stated that these animals, when deeply connected with a human being, were able to perceive energetic changes even before physical symptoms manifested. According to Cayce, many felines not only diagnosed but also accelerated healing, acting as energetic cleaners in times of illness, sadness, or extreme fatigue. But Cayce wasn't the only one. Accounts from Egyptian priests, indigenous shamans, and healers from different eras have always attributed a special role to cats, that of guardians between worlds, capable of seeing and manipulating forces invisible to human eyes. It's no coincidence that in ancient Egypt, killing a cat was considered a grave crime. Egyptians believed that this animal was the most direct link to the gods, a protector of the home against evil forces and negative energies. Recently, modern scientists have been studying behavior patterns in pet cats that defy rational explanations. Studies from universities in Europe and the United States show that domestic cats have the incredible ability to perceive hormonal changes in their guardians, such as elevated cortisol levels, the stress hormone, and chemical changes released by the body in situations of pain or emotional tension. The result? The feline approaches, intensifies its purr, and seeks physical contact in the exact place where the human's energy is lowest or densest. It's as if, behind those penetrating eyes, a silent diagnosis is happening all the time, something between the scientific and the supernatural. Now, close your eyes for a few seconds and imagine with me. A random night. A quiet house, soft light filtering through the window. You, lying in bed, trying to relax after a long day, full of events, worries, that subtle anxiety that insists on sticking around. Your cat, who spent the whole day seemingly indifferent, suddenly appears in the room, walks silently, almost floating across the floor, watches you in silence, eyes half closed, ears alert. It approaches. First, it sniffs your fingertips. Then, it climbs up your leg, circles your whole body, once, twice, 3 times, as if searching for the exact spot. Finally, it settles on your abdomen. You feel the gentle weight of the feline body, the warmth, the deep purr vibrating against your skin. Its breathing slows, its eyes close, its chest rises and falls at an almost hypnotic rhythm. On the outside, nothing has changed. You're still there, lying down. But inside, something truly happens. An inexplicable feeling of security and calm begins to invade every cell. Your heart slows down. Your mind, once agitated, finds a truce. The purr acts like a kind of mantra, resonating within your chest, removing layers of tension you didn't even know you carried. It's as if time has stopped, the mental noise silenced. And, even if you can't explain it, you feel that your cat is there for a much greater reason than just seeking comfort or a warm place to sleep. It's there because it feels you. It feels your emotional state, your health, your pains, your repressed joys or bursts of fear, and, in the mysterious way of cats, decides to be the guardian of your sleep, the silent healer of your nights. This experience, despite being universal among cat guardians, is often ignored or reduced to mere feline cuteness. But what if I told you that, in almost all ancient cultures, this interaction was considered sacred? That entire civilizations saw the act of a cat sleeping on a human as a healing ritual, a kind of energetic alchemy happening night after night in silence within our homes? Feel this memory now, the warmth of your cat's body, the deep sound of its purr, the tranquility that fills the environment. This isn't just a beautiful image of affection between species. It's a profound phenomenon, with roots in ancient beliefs and modern evidence. And all of this is happening, at this very moment, in thousands of homes around the world, including yours. Stay with me, because from here on, we're going to dive into even deeper mysteries. Where does this power of cats come from? Why did ancient cultures consider them bridges between worlds? And how can you learn to decipher the true signals your feline offers in search of your balance and well-being? Comment below with a story you've experienced with your cat and already noticed this phenomenon. Let's exchange experiences. Also, go ahead and share this video with that person who deserves to look at their furball with different eyes. Now stop and imagine the great civilizations of the past, from the Egypt of Ramses to the Roman catacombs, from the temples of India to the villages of Brazilian indigenous peoples. There is something that unites these cultures from such distant times. Something feline. In ancient Egypt, cats were revered as true gods. The image of Bastet, the goddess with the body of a woman and the head of a cat, was not only a symbol of fertility and home protection. Bastet represented the hidden power of seeing the invisible, of moving between worlds. When you see your cat staring fixedly at nothing, attentive to something only it perceives, remember, for the Egyptians, this was the gaze of the animal that found secret portals between light and shadow, warding off dangers you couldn't even imagine. But it doesn't stop there. In ancient Greece, felines were associated with moon goddesses, guardians of nocturnal mysteries, and considered capable of sensing spiritual presences, serving as an alert and defense against negative energies. In indigenous tribes of the Americas, there are reports of shamans who kept cats close during healing rituals, convinced that they could pick up diseases, absorb them, and expel them from human bodies, returning afterward to energize themselves in the sun or nature. These examples are not isolated. In Japan, the maneki neko, the well-known lucky cat, was inspired by an ancient tradition. It's believed that cats attract good luck and prosperity not only through mysticism, but through the real ability to cleanse environments of energies that prevent the natural flow of happiness and love. Have you ever heard of the Akashic Records? For Eastern and metaphysical cultures, this is the book where all the soul's experiences are recorded. Many psychics and scholars claim that cats have the sensitivity to feel when a person's gravitational energy or aura changes, whether due to past events or premonitions of the future. And why all this? Because for these ancient wisdoms, the feline is a bridge between the earthly and spiritual worlds. It doesn't just belong to the here and now. It walks between the veils, feels what cannot be seen, hears what cannot be heard. Sleeping on you, especially in moments of fragility, would be, according to these masters, a kind of rite of passage, a sacred gesture of protection, shielding, and even reconnection with something greater. Have you ever felt that, on turbulent days, your cat gets closer, lies down in unusual places, almost like an invisible foundation, bringing calm and hope when all seems lost? For the ancients, this was exactly the role of the feline, the one who silences the storms of the spirit and points the way back home. Maybe you've never told anyone this, but I bet you've experienced something like this, that difficult night, wrestling with anxiety, fear, or even inexplicable physical exhaustion. You try to sleep, but your mind insists on spinning, thoughts weighing on your shoulders. Suddenly, as if it received an inaudible call, your cat appears, silent, jumps onto the bed, and settles exactly on that part of you that hurts. How many times in those moments have you felt the warmth of its body warming your cold emotions? The purr filling the silence of your loneliness, a presence so subtle and so powerful that even without saying a word, it heals? The relationship between humans and cats is woven from small, everyday miracles like this. Real stories pop up all over the world. People who, after a devastating day, are comforted by their cat as if it understood everything words couldn't express. Cats who, faced with sadness or illness, become more protective, quiet, attentive, almost shamans in animal form. A study conducted by the University of Minnesota followed cat owners for over a decade. The result? People who live with cats showed up to a 30% lower risk of dying from heart disease. It might seem like cold statistical data, but if you've ever had an anxiety attack and were saved by the gentle contact of your feline, you know there's something very sincere, profound, and inexplicable in this connection. I'll tell you a case, one of those that stick in your memory. Marta, a 67-year-old woman, suffered from chronic insomnia, aggravated by episodes of depression. For years, she tried therapies, medications, relaxation rituals. Nothing seemed to work. Until one day, she adopted a stray cat, skittish and distrustful. In the first few months, the relationship was distant, but whenever Marta spent nights awake crying softly, the cat, named Horace, would lie on her chest. His purr was so strong it made the blanket tremble. Over time, Marta realized, on nights when Horace slept with her, she could fall asleep and woke up with more vitality. It wasn't instantaneous, it wasn't magic, but it was real. And when she received a diagnosis of heart disease, it was curious. Before the exams, Horace had been obsessively sleeping on her chest area, refusing to leave until Marta received treatment and began to heal. Coincidence, or an invisible bond, impossible to measure in laboratories. This is just one of thousands of stories around the world, and I bet that if you close your eyes now, you'll remember a moment when you felt your cat was there for a reason beyond affection, as if it knew something inside you, so intimate and secret that you couldn't even name it. But where does science fit into this story? Is all this just superstition, or are there real explanations for this power of cats to diagnose and even help heal their owners? Let's look at the facts. The cat's purr has always intrigued researchers. Why, after all, do cats purr? There's a physiological explanation. Purring occurs when the laryngeal muscles contract, vibrating the vocal cords between 25 and 150 hertz. But surprisingly, this sound frequency doesn't just serve to calm the cat itself. It has proven effects on living organisms, including humans. Several studies show that purring frequencies can stimulate the production of serotonin, the famous happiness hormone in the human brain. Furthermore, these vibrations reduce cortisol, the stress hormone, and facilitate cell regeneration, accelerating healing processes. It's no coincidence that cats have, proportionally, bones that heal up to twice as fast as those of other mammals, and that, in humans, the presence of a cat's purr can relieve pain, anxiety, and promote deep sleep. In 2009, an experiment by the Fauna Communications Research Institute in the USA proved that purr vibrations help rebuild tissues, relieve inflammation, and even promote bone health, not only in cats themselves, but also in other mammals, including humans. Another intriguing fact, in homes with cats, the incidence of depression and loneliness is lower. The reason? The simple act of stroking a feline causes the brain to release oxytocin, a hormone linked to bonding and feelings of pleasure. People who live alone and have cats report feeling less fear, less sense of abandonment, and a greater ability to recover emotionally from traumatic events. And the coincidences of cats sleeping on certain parts of the body before a medical diagnosis? Science admits, cats have a much superior sense of smell and energetic sensitivity to humans. They can detect subtle variations in temperature, odor, and even electromagnetic fields of the human body, which would partly explain their incredible accuracy in identifying areas of pain or inflammation. But perhaps the most fascinating aspect is still the mystery. Despite all these discoveries, scientists acknowledge that there are gaps. Cats do seem to pick up information beyond what current science can measure. After all, who hasn't seen a cat reacting to invisible presences, changing its gaze, behavior, or avoiding certain areas of the house with no logical explanation? Ultimately, the beauty lies here. Between science and mystery, between the tangible and the invisible, lie the secrets of this ancient connection, you and your cat, dancing together this silent dance of energy, feeling, and healing. And you, did you know about any of these scientific discoveries? Have you ever experienced something inexplicable with your feline? Comment here. Your experience can help create this network of stories that little by little reveals the true power of cats in our lives. Oh, and if the video is making sense to you so far, don't forget to leave a like and share. The more people discover, the more homes gain this magic. Around the world, thousands of real accounts confirm what, for a long time, was just a whispered suspicion among cat lovers. They truly perceive, diagnose, and in some way become silent healers in the lives of those who welcome them. But get ready to hear some even more striking stories, capable of completely changing your perception of the power of these felines. Let's start with the story that became famous in hospital corridors, and then gained worldwide recognition. Have you ever heard of Oscar the cat? In Rhode Island, USA, there's an institution called Steer House, a nursing home for terminally ill patients. One day, a seemingly ordinary kitten was adopted to live with the residents. But, in a short time, Oscar began to exhibit completely unusual behavior. Whenever a patient was about to pass away, he was almost always the first to notice. Observers would see Oscar stealthily enter the room, settle beside the elderly person, and remain there, undisturbed, until that person's last breath. It seemed impossible. Doctors began to observe, and soon it became statistically evident. Oscar predicted death with impressive accuracy. He was correct in over 90% of cases when someone was at the end of their journey. Why? For many, an unanswered mystery. For others, absolute proof of the energetic sensitivity of felines capable of detecting extremely subtle changes, whether in the aura, in the biological field, or even in the spiritual state of a human being. What truly touched everyone, however, wasn't just Oscar's premonition, but the way he comforted his charges. He would lie beside them, purr softly, offer a companionship of serenity, and nurses testified, provide a gentler, fearless passing. It was as if Oscar took on the role of spiritual caregiver in the final moments. It's not just in hospitals that stories like this happen. Ana Paula, a therapist from São Paulo, faced serious anxiety attacks and was about to give up her job when she adopted a cat named Lila. Every time she had an attack, Lila would immediately approach, lie on her abdomen, stare fixedly into her guardian's eyes, and begin an intense purr that lasted for minutes. Ana says that once she felt a strong, sudden pain in her stomach. Lila stayed on that area all night, only leaving when Ana finally sought help and discovered an incipient inflammation that, if left untreated, would have become an emergency. Coincidence? Curiosity? Or a call coming from a bond that science still insists on not fully understanding? Another case involves Eduardo, a young student who spent months dealing with deep sadness after losing a family member. He says that although his cat Simba had never slept on the bed, every night when tears came, Simba would insist on lying on his chest or resting his head near his heart, as if listening to what his owner felt. Eduardo reports that it was at that moment that he felt relief, an inexplicable peace, and to this day, whenever he feels more fragile, Simba returns to this ritual of silent healing. These stories of Oscar, Ana, Eduardo, and millions of other people transcend simple coincidences. They speak of a silent force, an ancestral gift, something that no rational explanation erases. The cat perceives, connects, responds, and heals. Now, after all these revelations and accounts, you might be asking yourself, but how can I really understand the signals my cat gives me? How do I distinguish a simple feline habit from an important message about my own energy, health, or emotional state? The answer requires sensitivity and presence, but there are very clear clues, and here are valuable tips for you to apply immediately in your daily life. First, observe in which situations your cat changes its behavior. Does it start sleeping on your chest or stomach a lot only when you're exhausted, anxious, or sick? Signs like excessive purring, gentle licks on your skin, or even small nips with its teeth can be indications that it has identified something out of balance in you. Second, pay attention to the position it settles in. Cats that insist on lying on a specific part of your body, whether your head, abdomen, knees, chest, are often trying to energetically work that region. It's as if they precisely locate the area of greatest need and remain there until they feel the work is done. Third, does your cat avoid certain environments or suddenly become restless in places where it was previously calm? In many cultures, it's believed that cats perceive zones of dense energy or even the presence of energies that need to be transmuted. Their warnings can be an invitation to rebalance the home environment, whether by ventilating, using aromas like lavender, or simply reinforcing energetic cleansing. Fourth, do you feel physical or emotional improvement right after your cat sleeps with you or purrs very close? Don't underestimate this feeling. The healing energy of felines is perceived by the subtle body. These are reliefs that logic doesn't explain, but that sensitivity moves. And most importantly, listen to the call to pay attention to these behaviors, because often the cat is the first messenger of something your body, mind, or spirit is trying to reveal. Want a simple exercise? Next time your cat insists on sleeping on you, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and feel, which area of your body did it choose? What emotion is alive in you at that moment? What needs care, comfort, healing? Transform this interaction into a ritual of self-knowledge, and little by little, discover how much this silent being can teach you about yourself. Practicing this attentive gaze will make your relationship with your cat even richer, deeper, and more meaningful. It's more than a pet. It's a mirror, a radar, a true partner in evolution. And if you've already noticed any hidden signs your feline gave you, share in the comments. Let's create this secret messages manual for cats together, building a community of connected, attentive, and grateful people for this feline gift. We've reached the end of this journey, and if you've stayed with me this far, you're ready to see your cat in a new light. Now, when your feline jumps onto you, chooses your body as its home, or even insists on a certain area night after night, you already know. It's not just about comfort or habit. It's about a reunion, an ancient partnership between two beings who recognize and heal each other. The cat is a guardian of your home's energies, a protector of your dreams, and a healer of invisible pains. It feels everything, your joys and fears, your most secret anxieties, your mood swings, and even illnesses before you even realize them. It's there, not by chance, but because it chose you, just as you chose it. And that's why I invite you. Look at your cat with more respect, affection, and curiosity. Transform every interaction into a portal of self-knowledge and gratitude for this spiritual companion who walks beside you. Take the opportunity to show appreciation through simple gestures for the silent and invaluable service it provides every day. But the journey doesn't end here. Share in the comments any story you've experienced with your cat, any healing, intuition, or message that only you and this magical being witnessed together. Like this video, subscribe to the channel to receive more content about spirituality, science, and the mysteries of living with animals. Let's build a community of passionate, conscious people open to the extraordinary. Subscribe to the channel and leave a like to get access to more stories like this. And remember, every night when your cat chooses to sleep on you, at that moment an ancient secret is being reenacted. You are not alone. Your silent healer is there, watching over your body, your energy, your soul. Let the mystery guide you, allow yourself to feel, and never, ever underestimate feline wisdom, because, in the end, it might be what helps you truly find your way back to yourself.